I am making a harpie deck profile. I've been playing around, messing around with this deck, and this is a current version of what I'm testing with. So far, I like it. There are things in the deck that are subject to change, and I just really enjoyed playing this deck ever since their stuff got released in, or their newer stuff got released in Lore of Tachyon Galaxy, and then just kept getting more and more support as time went on. Like I said, though, there are things in the deck that are subject to change. I believe there's 7 in the main deck, and I will go over those when I get to them. Starting off with the monsters, I play 3 copies of the original Harpie Lady. I play 3 of this one just because of being able to play Unexpected Die for a free summon for it, and as well as it being a normal monster, so if you can summon it before you normal summon your copy of the Harpie Chandler, then you can make this to make so you have a dragon in play, which I'll go over that when I get to it. Then I play 1 copy of Harpie Oracle. Harpie Oracle can be special summoned just by controlling a level, I believe it has to be level 6 or higher, level 5 or higher Harpie monster. And on summon, you can activate its effect, so at the end of the turn, you can take a spell or trap that mentions Harpie Lady's sisters from your graveyard and add to your hand. Then I play 3 copies of Harpie Chandler. Harpie Chandler has the effect that while you control a dragon monster, its level becomes 7. And then once per turn, you can discard a Harpie card to then special summon a Harpie monster from your deck in defense position. You can only use that effect of Harpie Chandler once per turn. Then I play 2 copies of Harpie Perfumer. Harpie Perfumer has the effect of... Bleh. It has the effect that when it's summoned, that you can add a spell or trap in your deck to your hand that mentions Harpie Lady's sisters. But if you control a level 5 or higher Harpie when this effect is activated, then you can add a second spell or trap with a different name. And you'll use that effect of Harpie Perfumer once per turn. One of the things I would change is I would play a 3rd copy of Perfumer, which currently I only have the 2. And one of the cards I would take out for the 3rd Perfumer would be one of the 2 copies of Harpie Harpist. I still don't know how I feel about Harpist being at 1 or 2. I just know 3 is too much and 1 I feel like is too little. But Harpie Harpist has the effect of, during the end phase, if this card's in the graveyard because it was sent there that turn, then you can add a Wind Wing Beast with the 1500 list deck. A level 4 Winged Beast from your deck to your hand. My bad. I can never remember what it adds because it usually adds Harpie Channeler during the end phase. Or you could take one of the 2 copies of Harpie Queen, which just lets you discard it to then add a copy of Harpie's Hunting Ground from deck to hand. And then I play 3 copies of Harpie's Pet Dragon, Fearsome Fireblast. Fearsome Fireblast is a free summon just by controlling a Windwing Beat or a level 6 or lower Harpie monster. I'm apologizing, I am misspeaking a lot. While it's on the field, your opponent cannot target level 6 or lower Harpie monsters for attacks. And then you can only use each of its following effects once per turn. Once per turn, if you control a level... I believe it's level, at least. If you control a level 6 or lower wind monster, you can special summon from your hand defense position. And then if it's sent to the graveyard, or if it's sent from field to grave, I believe. Yes, if it's sent from field to grave, you can send a wind monster from your deck to the grave. So one of the things that you can do with this is you can summon it, link it off, send a send a Harpist, and then have Harpist search Chandler during the end phase. And that's all I play for monsters. For spells, I play 1 copy of Harpie's Feather Duster, just to get rid of back row, since this deck's #1 thing it's good at, besides dealing damage, is destroying opponent's spell and traps, sometimes your own. Then I play 2 copies of Harpie's Hunting Ground. This makes so all your Harpie or all Winged Beast monsters gain 200 attack and defense, and then makes so every time you summon a Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady Sisters, you activate a mandatory ability to target one spell trap on the field and destroy it. Then I play 2 copies of Unexpected Die. If you control no monsters, you can special summon a normal monster from your deck. You can activate or no, you can activate multiple unexpected dice turn. Then I play 2 copies of Harpie's Feather Rest. Feather Rest has the effect of you can target 3 Harpie Lady and or Harpie Lady sisters in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, and then draw 1 card. Or if you control a level 5 or higher Harpie monster, you can draw 2 cards instead. I mainly just like this card because it's a archetype Pot of Avarice. Then I play 3 copies of Elegant Egotist. Elegant Egotist has the effect of while you control a Harpie Lady, you can special summon a Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady sisters from your hand or deck. Which the fun part of this card is that's not a once per turn, which is one of the things I love about most of the old cards is most of the older cards were before all the effects are considered good enough to even consider putting hard once per turns on. Then I play 3 copies of Hysteric Sign. Hysteric Sign has 2 effects, which you only use 1 effect per turn. Its first effect is when it's activated, you can add Elegant Egotist from your deck to your hand. And its second effect is during the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent to this turn, you can add 3 different Harpie cards from deck to hand. Or you can add 3 Harpie cards from deck to hand. I do not believe they have to be different. See, okay, yeah, you add 3 Harpie cards with different names from each other to your hand. Which this card's either usually being destroyed by the effect of Harpie's Hunting Ground or being sent to the grave off of Barricade Board Blocker. Which I'll get to that when I go over it. The next card I play is for Consistency, which is 3 copies of Small World. Small World has the effect of you can reveal a monster from your hand. To take a monster from your deck that has the same type, attribute, level, attack, or defense, banish the first target, and then you add a monster that has one of the same things in common as that monster from your deck to your hand, and then banish the second monster. So the way you can do with this is you can reveal a Harpie Queen in hand, banish it to then reveal a Harpie Oracle, have them be connected by a Winged Beast, and then Oracle can connect to Harpie Channeler because they're wind. I'm just playing around with Small World. If I end up not liking Small World, I'll replace it with a 3rd copy of Harpie Perfumer and 2 copies of, I think it's Wing Requital. If you control 2 Winged Beast monsters with different original names, pay 600 and draw 2 cards. And then for the traps, I play 2 copies of Hysteric Party. This lets you discard a card, especially summon as many copies of Harpie Lady as possible from your graveyard. And then when this face-up card leaves the field, destroy those monsters. The one thing you just now realized I forgot to mention is that all the Harpie monsters in this deck, besides Harpie's pet dragon, share the effect of their names become a Harpie Lady while in the field or in the graveyard. Then I'm just playing this because nostalgia reasons. I play 3 copies of Mirror Wall. This is another card that can easily be swapped out for something else. I just love Mirror Wall because it saved me a bunch of times before in this game, but not as much now. When I say before, I mean like before heroes were a thing. But Mirror Wall just has the effect of when an opponent's monster attacks, have the attacking monster's attack points, and then during your standby phase, pay 2,000 life points or destroy this card. And then the dumbest card in the deck I play is 3 copies of Harpie's Featherstorm. Harpie's Featherstorm can only be activated while you control a Winged Beast monster, but it makes it so that for that turn, all your opponent's activated monster effects are negated. And then you can activate from your hand if you control a Harpie Lady monster. And then if this card is set on the field, is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can add Harpie's Feather Duster from your deck to your hand. And I will go ahead and say this, Harpie's Feather Duster is, at the time of this video at least, at 1. But if it ever gets put to 3, I will only play Harpies. But that is it for the main deck. The 7, arguably 8 cards that can are subject to change in this deck are the 3 mirror walls, the 3 small worlds, a queen, and a harpist. Moving on to the extra deck though, I play 1 copy of M-Duck. M-Duck only matters in this deck because it's a Link 1 dragon you can make with Harpie Lady, which again matters for Harpie Channeler being a level 7, so that when you summon Perfumer you can add 2 cards like Elegant Egotist and Harpie's Feather Rest from deck to hand. Then I play 1 copy of IP Masquerena. This is just so that you can summon a Link monster that can't be destroyed by card effects. Then I play 1 copy of Barricade Board Blocker. Barricade Board Blocker has the effect of when it's summoned, you can discard 1 card, so the end phase you can add a field spell or continue a spell from your graveyard to your hand. And I believe while it's on the field, your field spells and continuous spells can't be destroyed. Face-up spells you control cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects. I know a protection effect is just hardly ever mattered long enough. Then I play 1 copy of Nightmare Phoenix. Excuse me. This is just for more back row hate. One thing I like doing with this deck is in games 2 or 3, if I know I'm going to be going second, I will side in cards like Mind Control and Change of Heart so that I can make Nightmare Phoenix a lot easier. Because since all the Harpie monsters besides Pet Dragon change their names to Harpie Lady, the Nightmares are a bit harder to make, but with Fearsome Fire Blast being a free summon, it's not as hard as it used to be. Then I play 1 copy of Harpie Conductor. Conductor has the effect of a Harpie monster or monsters on your field be destroyed by battle or card effect. You can destroy 1 of your spells or traps instead. There's just another way you can destroy your what was it called? Hysteric Sign. Then I play 1 copy in Unicorns just so you can discard a card, shuffle a card on the field back to the deck. 1 copy of Appaloosa for negation purposes. 1 copy of Mech Knight Crusadia Avramax. Just because it has the effect of it can't be targeted with card effects, nor can monsters target your monster. I'm going to try saying that again without screwing up. Usually I'll make this with IP Masquerena so that it can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects, and your opponent can only attack it. And then this card battles a special summoned monster. You can make this card gain attack equal to that opponent's monster's attacker and damage calculation only. And then this Link summoned card you control is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card. You can shuffle 1 card on the field into the deck. Overall, I just think this card's a very decent card right now, so I figured why not play 1. The only thing I would change with the extra deck would be if I don't like Avramax, I would replace either this card or the next one with a Boral Sword so I can actually push for game. Which the next card being Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. I like making this card with IP Masquerena as well, just because you can use one of your opponent's monsters. Like I remember at one point against Kashira, they had summoned their Arise Heart and activated its effect to then banish a card. So I changed IP and used their Avramax to then make Underworld Goddess. But Underworld Goddess has the effect of when it's summoned, it negates the effects of all your opponent's face-up cards. And then it's unaffected by card effects unless they specifically target it. And it can negate any effect that would summon any monster from the graveyard. And you can only use that effect of Underworld Goddess to close world once per turn. Then I play 2 copies of Cyber/Harpie Lady. This card is a compulsory evacuation device when a spell or a trap card or effect is activated. And it can also be synchro summoned by using a Harpie Lady monster you control, so you can have any level 4 Harpie Ladies be a tuner for this card summon and use it with another thing. Then I play 1 copy of Ice Beast Xerophine. Xerophine has the effect of being able to detach material from it to negate the effects of all face-up monsters, or I think it's monsters. You negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent currently controls, and if you do, this card gains 200 attack for each card currently on the field except this one. This is, again, just another card for if I need to start pushing for game. And then I also play one copy of Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon. This is if I need a bit of time, because it has the effect of your Harpie monsters cannot be targeted for attacks or by card effects, and it can attack directly. However, during each of your end phases, it must detach one material. And then because I do play level 7 monsters, I do play one copy of number 11 Big Eye. This just lets me steal my opponent's monster. However, Big Eye loses the ability to attack for that turn. And then finally, I play one copy of number 89, Diablosis the Mind Hacker. Diablosis has the effect of being able to, once per turn, detach material, to then be able to look at your opponent's extra deck and banish a card from it face down. And then, at the end of the battle phase, if it destroyed a monster entered by battle and send it to the graveyard, you banish one card from your opponent's graveyard face down. And if a card your opponent controls, or owns and controls, is banished face down, you can banish cards from the top of your opponent's deck face down for each face down banish card they currently have. So if you use both of these effects, then they'll have 2. So when you activate the secondary effect, they'll have 4. And then the next turn, if you use both of its effects, you'll banish 2 more, so they'll have 6. So when you have them banish more, they'll now have 12 face down banish cards. And then the longer this card remains in play, the more of a menace it becomes. But that is it for my Harpie Lady deck profile. If you have any ideas what I can do to improve the deck, any ideas what I can do, or other decks that to be made, or decks like to see face each other, feel free to comment down below. Thanks for watching.